Morning everybody. So as you can see today we're going to read a little bit more of There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. Now I've been joined by a special guest today. This is Ronnie and he's very excited to read with us today. So just as a little recap, if you remember, we have been thinking about this book for quite a while. So Bradley, we know he's got himself into a little bit of trouble. He's kind of made friends with Jeff and then pushed him away. And he doesn't really know how to make friends. And he's just recently started going to see Carla. And the last thing we read was Carla sent Bradley away with a little job to think about things that he would like to talk about with her. So we're going to carry on from where we left off. So all week, Bradley worked on his list of topics to discuss with Carla. It's not homework, he kept telling himself. In fact, it's the opposite of homework, because if I think of some good topics, then we won't have to talk about homework. He didn't scribble during class. He listened closely to what Mrs. Ebel and the other kids said in order to get ideas for his list. He took it with him wherever he went. At recess, he kept his eyes and ears open, constantly on the lookout for a new topic. The other kids were meaner to him than they'd ever been before. They were no longer afraid of him. They called him names, and when he didn't do anything about it, they called him more names. A fourth grade boy, who wanted to show off to his friends, ran up to him and said, "You're not even human, you're a monster. You're a monster from outer space." The boy ran away, but Bradley didn't chase him. He added 3 new topics to his list: humans, monsters, and outer space. Monday was Halloween. Most of the kids brought costumes which they were allowed to put on at lunch. Brian, one of Jeff's friends, didn't bring a costume, so he borrowed a black magic marker from Mrs. Ebel and coloured a circle round one eye. When he came back from lunch, he told everyone he was Bradley Chalkers. While everyone laughed, Bradley busily worked on his list. It covered both sides of 3 sheets of paper. Trees that lose their leaves, gold stars, chalk, tape. Are chickens really afraid? Why people laugh? What does it feel like to be shot in the leg? Pencils, pencil sharpeners, accidents, coffee, military school, canes, basketball, friends, enemies, hopscotch, dodgeball, 4 square, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, more, less, nothing at all. What's it like to be in jail? Good boys, bad boys, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Have you ever been to the White House? Who shot my father? Why did he get away? Peanut butter and jelly, gold stars, black eyes, fighting, girls with big mouths. What it's like inside a girl's bathroom. Saying hello, reflexes, hate. When will I be able to grow a beard? Things that smell. Things you like about yourself. Things you don't like about yourself. Things nobody likes about yourself. Things you don't like about anybody else. Gold stars. Does my head look like a chili bowl? Closets. Hiding places. Dreaming. Bad dreams. I wish I could fly. Kids with glasses. Glasses you drink from. Why people like some people and hate other people. Breaking things. I wish I was invisible. Crybabies. What happens when you grow old? Humans, monsters, outer space. Why is Halloween a holiday? Pirates, princesses, ghosts. What happens when you die? What if you were never born? Can someone else be you? Can you be someone else? If I was someone else, I wouldn't make fun of me. Magic and markers. He didn't go trick-or-treating that evening, though Ronnie and Bartholomew did. The other animals gave them lots of candy. "I'm making a list of topics to talk about with my counsellor," he told them. "Did you have any ideas?" "How about rabbits?" suggested Ronnie. "That's a good one," said Bradley. He added rabbits to his list. "Bears," said Bartholomew. "That's good too." Claudia barged into his room. Bradley quickly shoved his list under the pillow on his bed. "How about what Dad's going to do to you when he finds that you're flunking?" she asked. "That's a good topic." "What are you talking about?" asked Bradley. "The list." "What list?" "Oh, I don't know," said Claudia. She slowly wandered towards the bed, then lunged for the pillow. Bradley dived for it too, but Claudia beat him to it. She held the list above her head and read it. As she looked at each new page, she cracked up laughing. "What's so funny?" he demanded. "Your list. What's wrong with it? This isn't the kind of stuff you talk about with a counsellor. How do you know?" "Chalk?" asked Claudia. "What can you say about chalk?" "A lot," he insisted. Claudia laughed. "1 potato, 2 potato. Your counsellor's going to be mad when she sees this." "Give it to me." "Yes," she answered, as if she had a question. "Yes, what?" "Yes, your head looks like a chili bowl." She laughed. "Shut up." "Who shot my father?" read Claudia. "How's she going to know that?" Bradley shrugged. Claudia gave him back the list. "You wrote gold star 3 times, she said, shaking her head. Bradley grabbed it from her hand and looked at what he'd written. "That's the stupidest list I've ever seen," said Claudia. "Your counsellor's not going to want to talk about anything on that list." "You don't know her," he replied. "She'll talk about anything I want to talk about. She listens to me. She likes me." "No, she doesn't," scoffed Claudia. "That's just her job." She walked out of his room laughing. Bradley watched her go. Then he added 2 new topics to his list: sisters and jobs. Tears filled his eyes as he tried to think of another topic. He crossed off 2 of the gold stars, then crumpled the list into a ball and threw it in the trash basket. Chapter 23. "Look out, here comes the monster!" screamed a chubby 4th grade boy. "It's the monster from outer space!" "Ah, it's so ugly!" yelled his skiddy friend. "Don't let it touch you," warned a girl with pink glasses, "or you'll turn into a monster too." Bradley ran at them. They scattered and regrouped like pigeons. He sat down to eat his lunch. "It sure is a stupid monster," shouted a 3rd grader. After lunch, Bradley sat at his desk. Last seat, last row. He didn't look at Jeff. He didn't look the other way either, at the chart full of gold stars, and he didn't look straight ahead at Mrs. Ebel. He didn't look anywhere. It was time to see Carla again. He took the hall pass from Mrs. Ebel and walked out the classroom. He hated Carla. He didn't want to make the same mistake with her that he'd made with Jeff. He realised Claudia was right. Carla didn't like him. That was just her job. She was waiting for him outside her door. "Hello, Bradley," she said as she held out her hand. "It's a pleasure to see you today. I appreciate your coming to see me." He walked past her and sat down at the round table. She sat across from him. She was wearing a long-sleeved white shirt with 2 triangles on it, one red and one blue. "Did you make a list of topics to discuss?" she asked. "No, you're the teacher." "So?" "So you're the one who has to say what we talk about, not me. That's your job." "Well, let me think," said Carla. "Are you sure you can't think of anything?" He shook his head. "I'm surprised. I thought you would have come up with a lot of interesting topics." "Well, in that case, we'll have a talk about school. Shall we start with homework?" "Monsters from outer space," he replied. "Huh?" "Monsters from outer space," he repeated. "You said I could pick the topic. I want to talk about monsters from outer space." "What a wonderful topic," said Carla. "The only way to kill them is with a ray gun," said Bradley. "Regular guns, or even hand grenades and atomic bombs won't kill them. You need a ray gun." He stood up and pretended to shoot a ray gun, making a noise that sounded like a cross between a machine gun and a horse. Carla put her hands up to protect herself. "Don't shoot me," she said. "You're a monster from outer space," he told her. "No, I'm not. I'm a counsellor." He stopped firing. "Do you believe in monsters from outer space?" She shook her head. "No, but I do believe that there are other types of creatures living in outer space. I just don't believe in monsters. I believe that Earth is just one small planet in a gigantic universe. I think there are billions of other planets with trillions of other kinds of creatures living on them. Some are real stupid and others smarter than you or me. Some are bigger than dinosaurs, others smaller than ants. But out of all those creatures, I don't think there is even one monster." "Not even one?" "No," said Carla. "I think everyone has good inside them. Everyone can feel happiness and sadness and loneliness, but sometimes people think someone's a monster. But that's only because they can't see the good that's there inside them. And then a terrible thing happens. They kill them? No, even worse. They call him a monster, and other people start calling him a monster, and everyone treats him like a monster. And then after a while, he starts believing it himself. He thinks he's a monster too, so he acts like one. But he still isn't a monster. He still has lots of good buried deep inside him." She's starting to figure him out here, isn't she? "But what if he's real ugly?" asked Bradley. "What if he has green skin and only one eye in the middle of his face and 3 arms and 2 hands on each arm and 8 fingers on each hand?" Carla laughed. "You and I might think that's ugly," she said, "but that's just because it's different from what we're used to seeing. On that planet, that might be considered beautiful. You may have just described a handsome movie star." Bradley laughed. "On that planet, they probably would think I was ugly because I don't have green skin and I have 2 eyes." Bradley shook his head. "No, they might think I was ugly, but not you." "Why, Bradley?" Carla said with astonishment. "That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Thank you." He blushed. He hadn't meant it the way it came out. "I don't want to talk about monsters anymore," he mumbled. "Okay," said Carla. "I think we had a very good conversation, don't you? You picked an excellent topic." For the rest of the session, he coloured. He took a green crayon out of Carla's large box of crayons and tried to draw the creature from outer space that he had described. He was able to draw the 3 arms and 6 hands, but he had trouble fitting 8 fingers onto each hand. He looked up. "Carla?" "Yes, Bradley?" "Can you see inside monsters?" he asked. "Can you see the good?" "That's all I can see." He returned to his picture. He drew a black eye in the middle of the creature's face. He drew a red heart inside the creature's chest to show all the good that was there. "Well, how does a monster stop being a monster?" he asked. "I mean, if everyone sees only a monster and they keep treating him like a monster, how does he stop being a monster?" "It isn't easy," Carla said. "I think, first, he has to realise for himself that he isn't a monster. That, I think, is the first step. Until he knows he isn't a monster, how is anybody else supposed to?" Bradley finished colouring and showed his picture to Carla. "He's a movie star on his planet," he said. "Everyone loves him." "He's very handsome," said Carla. "You want it?" asked Bradley. "I mean, I don't want it anyway, so you can have it." "I'd love it," said Carla. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to hang it on the wall right now. Bradley watched her tack it up. He almost told her she wasn't allowed to put holes in the wall, but changed his mind. It was time for him to go back to class. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, said Carla. I hope you have another wonderful topic for us to discuss. He started to go, then stopped and turned around. Yes? She asked. He put his hands on his hips and stared at her. Did you forget something? He stood and waited. Her eyes suddenly lit up. She held out her hand and said, I enjoyed your visit very much. Thank you for sharing so much with me. He stretched his mouth into a half smile, half frown, then hurried out of her office. So Carla is just starting to have a little bit of an effect on Bradley, isn't she? She's trying to teach him that actually we've all got good inside us, isn't she? Because he looks at himself in a very negative light, and she's starting to encourage him to think, well, if you think positively about yourself, then other people will think that too. So very interesting. We'll read some more soon. In the meantime, take care. Bye.